a video talking about my hot takes for Smite. That video did pretty decently well, and also it seems like a decent amount of you really enjoyed my hot takes. So I now want to give my hot takes on a more larger game franchise, that being Overwatch 2. So just like my Smite hot take video, I'll go from my least controversial hot takes to more controversial hot takes the further we go. So without further ado, here are my Overwatch 2 hot takes. Mythic skins are too expensive / the store isn't balanced. Now, one of Overwatch's two main selling points is to get people to either pay for the battle pass for the Mythic shards or just buy them directly. But my main issue is that even though these skins look cool and are pretty expensive on their own, my main issue is that the pricing when it comes to these skins. Sure, you can spend just the $10 on the battle pass and grind to get the shards, but that's only per season. But not all Mythic skins are even created equally. A good example is the Orisa to Kiriko skin. Now, I would imagine there are some people that do like the Orisa skin more than the Kiriko skin, but I'm not one of them. My main issue is that how you get the Mythic skins, you have to buy the base, then you buy levels to get the other customizable parts of the skin. While you usually get an extra part and a recolor when it comes to leveling up the skin, the Orisa skin is pretty much just recolors until you reach level 4, and then you get the barely noticeable gun change. I think you should just be able to buy what customization you want for the Mythic skin and maybe leave the rest to buying later, since you might be paying 10 Mythic shards just for one recolor. Orisa's current design isn't healthy for the game. Now, as for now, the horse is somewhat tamed and not being a must pick when it comes to trying to win games, but I wouldn't say she's horrible right now. Just wait a few patches and she'll get some micro buffs and become meta again. I wasn't a fan whenever they decided to redesign her kit went for the 5v5 format, and since she was either okay or not a bad pick, to I hate everything you stand for. Especially whenever she was able to cycle between javelin, spin, and forward fight with much ease compared to what she is right now. With also all these things making her into a brick wall, you would assume that she'll be more of a close range hero. But no, for some reason she has no fall off damage penalty with her gun, making her be able to poke or even hit some of those heroes that are very far away. Ursa is one of the very few heroes in Overwatch I would say that when it comes to they have a lower cooldown buff or whatever comes to their ability, she becomes scary. Now, other heroes can also be like this, I would say, but I feel like for her specifically, every time she gets a buff, it feels very impactful. Just one little second cooldown reduction buff, then she's able to cycle her tankiness even more. She just feels just unfun even to play too. The only joy I would say when it comes to playing Orisa is maybe being able to cancel or hit someone from afar and knock them back with your javelin. But other than that, all I am doing is just pressing buttons, either taking no damage at all or mitigating so much more damage. But she also is just a hero that just waits for little buffs, then becomes crazy and takes a couple of seasons to get nerfed down, then the cycle repeats for her. A new format should be tested. One thing I would like to see as an experimental game mode like Quick Play Hacked is changing the current format Overwatch 2. Now, I'm not saying like do 66 or even some people doing 7v7. It'll still be stuck to the 5v5 format. But the new format will be having 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 1 support. Now, some may say this is a bad idea, and I can understand since the main issue for Overwatch 1 was queue times, mainly for DPS and support players waiting while a tank can instantly queue in. But I feel like this game mode is still worth a shot to try, and there may not need to be as many changes for it to work. Now, you may think there are 2 tank players, the support healing will need dramatically to be increased, and supports who aren't really more AoE healing may struggle to work in this format. But for how some of the most newer tank designs, I feel like they can somewhat work in this format or kind of act like another support. Malga, which I wouldn't say he is a lot more supportive, could use his overdrive ability, not only being able to heal himself, gaining shields, and etc. He could also take the attention off of his support so the support can heal the other tank, or even the other tank can heal off of his overdrive. Also, Jungle Queen can use her shout to help get her other tank out of sticky situations with the temporary health and the speed boost, and older tanks like Reinhardt and Zarya would also, I feel like, work well in this format. Overall, a lot of changes we'll need to do for this format to work, but maybe that may be for another video. Most of the new supports are mid. Now with a title like that, you may think I'm talking about how impactful or the meta of these supports are, and that's not really the case. What I mean by this is most of the newer supports aren't really fun to play for me. Kiriko feels kind of for me, and while I have played Lifeweaver the most when it comes to the 3 current new supports, I feel like I'm a heal bot 90% of the time, and even when I do try to do some poke or whatever, most of the time that would just lead into an ally dying. But now I've been liking Illari a lot more, even though during her release I wasn't a fan of her kid. Sure, she was strong during her release in Season 6, but that was also a time I really wasn't playing, and I kind of just skipped that season if I'll be honest. I'm definitely hoping to like Space Ranger whenever she's released, but only time will tell. Scoreboards matter to extent. Now, a few people are probably rolling their eyes or saying that I've used stats to see if my teammate is doing well or not. To this, I say yes and no. For me, it really depends on what hero your team is playing or is up against. If your Widow has about 20k damage but has about 10 eliminations, she's doing good. If you're playing Lucio and you don't have the best healing bar, you get eliminations with Booth and doing saves with your ult or even using speed boost, you're doing well. A few heroes I would say don't really follow the scoreboard really, like Ana. If Ana has the lowest healing in the game but is making plays with Sleep Dart, Grenade, or Nano Boost, then she's doing well. 6v6 versus 5v5 debate needs to stop. This debate isn't anything new if you started playing Overwatch 2. You probably have heard it, people were upset to change to 5v5. Now this debate appears every so often, and I'm a bit tired of it if I'll be honest. You could argue 5v5 has a point when it comes to Q times would be bad, and they are continuing to rework most of the heroes who aren't designed well for this format. But you can also agree on the 6v6 side that some hero builders like Discord or make the tank role more difficult, and since most of the shields in Overwatch 2 are gone, the chance of double barrier the return is low. The only way I can see that format return is maybe Ramach or Sigma, but I don't think that'll make the double barrier strategy return at all, if I'll be honest. Besides these points going back at each other, I just feel like the devs just don't want to do it. If Overwatch 2 was going to even do 6v6, it won't happen for a while since a lot would need to change for it to work. This would affect featured heroes that are in development in the current roster. The reworks that have been working on would be just meaningless, and judging by how the current team gets on with balance, it probably could be a disaster as well. But most importantly, if 6v6 isn't the answer, then all the work they did was for nothing. They have to redo everything and go back to 5v5 or 7v7 that some people are suggesting. Overall, I want to see what they can do for the game before they think they should change to 6v6. Future Robbie working on editing this video. Currently, I have seen that there's going to be a discussion about 6v6, so I'm very interested to see how that is. Don't know if this video will be uploaded before or after this discussion has been had or whatever, so hopefully this will cue some answers, and there's a chance that this part of the video wasn't needed. But those are my Overwatch 2 hot takes, and what do you think? Do you agree with some of my hot takes or not? But also make sure to leave your own Overwatch 2 hot take down in the comments below. But that's for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, so hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Hitting the subscribe button to be appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.